Yeah, so
Hi, how are you?
how are you? All well. So far, so
Good.
good.
I'm much better now. I'm much better. It's just my throat is pretty messed up even now.
So, for those who came in late, I was just I didn't know that people couldn't hear me, but I was giving them a brief introduction about you, how it all began. You know, it started with
Mm.
asthma, and then you got into live looping and all of that. So if you could just take them through your journey in a very concise manner for those who do not are not aware, rather, or those who've only seen this side of you, not the earlier one.
Well, it started back in 2003. That's when I auditioned for Kokwi Pop Stars, and it was an all India talent hunt, all India level talent hunt. And I just went because I was just curious to know, what's going to happen there and stuff. I had no intentions of, getting into it or actually moving away from Delhi or I was doing studies. I was in my college first year, so I had no idea of where it's going to go, but I just had this itch. Oh, my this thing is moving a lot. Sorry, but I think I had this. I really wanted to explore and see where I stand. I think it was just that sort of a need to find out where will my singing take me. And to my surprise, I just got selected in the first round, and I was called to Mumbai for the second round for the intensive auditions. And that's when my parents sort of freaked out. They were like, "Arey, ye to chali jayegi," and we don't know what's going to happen there. And so my mom, she being a principal of a school back in the days, she was very particular about continuing studies, and she wanted me to get into civil services, be an IS officer, keep music on the side, keep learning, keep it a hobby always, because parents always fear that you need something which can
Right,
give you guarantee, like a paid job or a government
right,
service and stuff. So they want you to be secure for life. She asked me to, she said, okay, you can go there and you can have all the experience you want, but you got to come back. So if you, in case you get selected, that's not happening. You have to say no and you have
right.
to come back. So I went ahead with that intention as well. So I honestly had nothing to lose. So I was just giving my 100% everywhere, whatever. I had no inhibitions about anything. I knew that this is not, where I want to go in life. So might as well give my, 100% and live it to the fullest, because this is only now. And one thing led to the other. And there were judges, Palash Sen from Euphoria, and Menaz Hussain and Purab Kohli from Channel V. And it's crazy because, to my surprise, by the end of it, I got selected as one of the pop stars. And I was not even like, to be very honest, I can safely say that at that time I was not even pop star material. Pop star is like
Right.
you have to look all glamorous. And I was this girl with chubby cheeks, and I was very cute and golu molu. So I was 18, and I didn't really bother about how my looks should be. And there were makeovers happening, makeup was
Right.
being done, and we were given designer clothes, and everything was very new for me. So it's it was just for the experience that I went ahead. But once I got selected, Palasin came to my place in Delhi, and he convinced my parents, especially my mother, and he said if she has to continue her studies, she will on the side if she really wants to do it's manageable, but you will never know where she can go from here. If this is what she's meant to do in life, you never know. Maybe music is her calling, and right now she's young, she has the time. Let her explore this. It could be the contract with Channel V would be for maybe 2 years, and after that she can figure out what she wants. If it doesn't work out, you always have her back. She can always
Right.
come back.
Right.
And I think very reluctantly, my parents were very apprehensive, but at the same time, they kind of, just agreed to it because my my elder brother, really persuaded. Like, okay, she has to go. And I'd never been away from home. I was so young, and never my parents had never let me go anywhere, even for a night out or a picnic. And this was a big deal for me. Just flying from Delhi to Mumbai and staying with complete strangers, three more strangers from different parts of the country, and dealing with people from the music industry. It was a crazy experience for me.
How was that? I'm quite curious. When you were thrown into that mix of people you don't know, how did it all work out? Was there any starting trouble, or did you have to break the ice?
I think missing home and missing my nani. I was very close to my nani at that time. I was very young and very close to her. So being away from home was a major stumbling block for me mentally,
Oh.
because I used to miss home a lot. But at the same time, people around, my bandmates, people who were grooming us, people who were giving us, people from Channel V. It was like it had
Mm.
become like a small family. There were two girls from Channel V who used to take care of our needs and just chat with us and
Mm.
give us pep talks time and again. So it had become like a small family. And
Mm.
I think after a period of time I kind of got used to it, and I was like, okay, now I can balance both, and I have become a little more independent, I would say. That it made me learn all of that. But honestly, people were very supportive. Terence Lewis was one of our, he was our choreographer. He was the one who choreographed steps for Chandu Ke Chacha, and all the songs, all the performances that we had on stage during that time. And he was extremely patient with me, because I was never a trained dancer. Niti
Mm.
was already teaching choreography. She was teaching dance at Ashley Lobo, so she had that background. Sangeet also had, like, the natural moves were really good. Jimmy obviously had to work a lot on
Mm.
his dance, and same with me. I mean, I could groove, but doing proper choreography and body language and everything, it he was very patient with me. And a lot of other, Bhavdeep Jaipurwale was teaching us vocals, and till then I never had this kind of vocal technique sort of training. I had always learned here and there bits and pieces, but this was a little more advanced for me. So uh, it's a learning curve, I would say. There were times where I, just feel really like, what's happening? Is it really, worth it? But I think it was
Right.
all, there was a lot of pressure, but at the same time, when you achieve something, it's that satisfaction is there. So I think it was all worth it. And there was so much learning from all these guys, from Salim Suleiman to Vishal Bhardwaj, and, so many music directors we met and learned from. So overall, I would say it's an experience of a lifetime for me.
How did the equation with the other members of the group pan out? Was it like did everything click from the get go, or?
Uh, See, all of us have a very similar family background. So, from people coming from, typical middle class families who have worked really hard to achieve. So the kids are a certain way, I would say. That Sangeet already belonged from a music, his
Right.
father is a very renowned music arranger and violinist. And so I think, sort of had an idea, and he had met a lot of musicians in his younger years. And but for us, coming together, even his family setup is very similar. The way everyone is brought up was very similar. So I think it was not very difficult. We were all close to our folks, and our conversations were always fun. And it was full of masti always. And it it so happened that we were going through all this together, so we used to share a lot. And there could have been competition within the group, so maybe within two girls. But I think Neeti, from the beginning, there's because of the age gap also, I was always like a younger sister to her, and I used to look up to her, talk to her. So it was always like a different sort of equation. amongst all of us. So Jimmy, being the eldest in the band, he was like the big brother, and so much to learn from Jimmy also on stage. He's a live wire. When it comes to stage performance, he will sweep like the audience off their feet. You know, he's so interactive and so good as a performer. And Sangeet's musical mind is like next level. His harmonies and whatever musically he puts together is something that blew me away. And there's so much to learn from all of them, you know. So I think it brought us, that experience brought us much closer, even so that even now when we are not really making music together, we are still a family. We meet up when there is an occasion, you know, some get-togethers happening, and we are on the same page. We are on the same, you know, when we interact with each other, we're right there when it all started, and we were thick, and we used to talk a lot. So it's the same thing with all of them.
Great, great. And so there are a few comments that I've been seeing. A lot of people saying they're big, huge fans of yours, and in addition to that, there are also people who are asking stuff like, "How has your singing evolved over the years?" I think evolution obviously would naturally happen with whatever you're doing, but is there anything that you would like to call out in terms of turning points? Or
See, I think when I look back and listen to my records with asthma, or when I listen to old songs that I had attempted to sing, I see a huge difference from then to now. And that was a time when my voice was extremely raw, and I didn't know the right techniques. I was just belting it out, like my throat would go for a toss. By the end of it, I didn't know the right techniques. But over a period of time, when you keep learning and keep, and it's your voice that tells you. So the more you listen to your voice, you get to know, you understand so many things. And after that, uh, Berkeley College of Music happened for me. So for me, that whole evolution of a musician or a person happened musically for me at Berkeley College of Music. And it was it was like it blew me away completely to meet musicians from all across the world, to collaborate and to interact with them, and to get inspired every single day, you know. So it and to learn not just Western music. I mean, there was an ensemble of Hindustani music as well. Apart from that, there was Western music theory and arranging and everything, and even Middle Eastern, Balkan, you know, so and flamenco
wow.
and all these sorts of you know, different genres and different styles. And I would say world music was something that I was exposed to. So I was really blown away and so inspired that I actually ended up writing a full-fledged album there, and that's called Attune Spirits, which was like a crowd-funded album by the end of it, featuring over 30 musicians from everywhere who were at Berkeley and back at home.
Wow. Was it mixed and mastered there as well, or at Berkeley, or?
Um, no, it was mixed here. Kuber Sharma, he mixed the album here, and I got it mastered from Mastering World online. That's in England. But having said that, I mean, Berkeley was definitely a stepping stone. But as a vocalist, I would say the actual evolution has sort of happened over the last 2 years.
Hmm.
Over the last 3-4 years back, I've started Hindustani vocals from Sri Ravi Juleji, who's like my guru for life. He has changed my idea of you know, rendering my voice the way I should, how to round, you know, make it rounded when you're singing higher notes, how to have body in your voice, and all sorts of techniques. Anything that I have that I see improvement in my vocals since the past few years, he is totally responsible for that, I think. And he inspires me. I still have classes twice a week, and I think I will continue them for life, because for me, learning never stops. And I think I'll keep doing that. And I would say that that is one of the most like the biggest change that I see over the last few years, and my vocals today.
Right. And so I'm a little curious when they teach you technique, right? Uh, they does it how much of it does it compromise on the rawness? For example, you said you would just belt it out and it would damage your throat, but you still get that kind of output, right? So when you're not using technique, that versus when you're using technique, how does that balance? As in, does it go low on the output? You get what I'm trying to say, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
does it?
yeah. So the intensity wouldn't change if you're using the right technique. And the right technique is just so that you save yourself, your voice, your
Right,
vocal
right,
cords,
absolutely agreed.
so I think understanding that, because what happens is when we belt out, a lot of people use this area and
Hmm.
larynx, and it gets really tightened. Like you can see nerves popping out, and they're actually putting a lot of effort. It's good to. It's sometimes it's thrilling to see someone like a lot of metal singers and rock singers who are doing, but they're actually doing the technique right. Otherwise, they can't growl like that for hours. They can't do
Absolutely.
gigs regularly.
I've
So
seen
there is,
Melissa Cross's Zen of Screaming.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a video about that. But I was just curious about, does it take it down a notch when you use the technique? The
not
rawness of it
really.
all? No? Okay.
I think it becomes more rounded, and
Oh, okay.
rounded means it's more refined anyway, so it's
Right.
not raw. So it just
Okay.
sounds more polished, and I think a little more professional. However, I would say that a lot of raw voices also just hit you straight, and
Right.
you just get, because the tone is beautiful. So the
Hmm.
natural tone of that person is beautiful. But if they adapt the right technique, and if they learn the right technique, they could do wonders with their voice timbre, tonality, and the projection. So I feel technique, definitely, I would vouch for technique any day, and I'm still learning every single day.
Right, right, absolutely. No, I didn't mean which is better. I was just curious whether it takes the edge off in some way where you want to express something with that kind of power. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. It gets more rounded and refined. True.
Right.
And so when you released Attuned Spirits, you came back to India and released it, or was it?
Yes. So I was,
Okay.
by the end of it, I had planned to, be at Berkeley only for 2 years, because I just wanted a change of environment. When you keep doing the same things over and over, same sort of Bollywood gigs and stuff that I was doing here, I didn't see any movement happening. There was a lot of
Hmm.
stagnation, even within
Hmm.
me as a musician, as a singer. And I think when this opportunity came to me and I was offered a scholarship, I was like, this is the right time for me to just go and have like a proper academic structure and learn something properly with a discipline. And by the end of it, of course, I mean, apart from the scholarship, just taking care of your expenses on your own in US can be very expensive. So by the end of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
uh, when I was bankrupt, I said, okay, now it's time for me to come back. And whatever I've recorded here, I want to just put it together. And that was the time I actually did crowdfunding through Wishberry. Wishberry was a fairly new crowdfunding platform in India. And not many people knew about it then. They had just started off. So I got in touch with them, and they wanted me to do the music campaign, a crowdfunding campaign for this, and it was called Stay Attuned, for Attuned Spirits. And I made a
Right.
fun video. I spoke to people through a YouTube video, and I told them that this is what I want to do. This is my music. One of the songs is already short, so I showed them that video. The first song was Jagi Jagi Rehna, and that was like my demo to show them the kind of music that I want to create. So by the end of 2 months, it was a 2 months campaign. By the end of 2 months, from Feb and March, I got over 5 lakh rupees sorted for my album, and it was
Wow.
unbelievable because it was a very successfully crowdfunded album, and I was, to my surprise, I didn't believe it. I think I went, like, uh, I've never been so aggressive on social media. Like even if I put out a new song, I'll put it and I'll just leave it. But this was something like I felt everything was at stake, and I wanted this album to come out. So I kept on. I was extremely aggressive. Every day I'll post about it. Every day I'll talk to people, let them know about my music, and I think that really helped by the end of it. So yeah, that was a very good experience.
Hey, do you have to pay tax when you after you crowdfund? Do you have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pay
yeah,
tax? You
yeah,
do?
yeah.
Oh my. Okay. It's the
Yes,
same that you pay, I mean, on your income, that same level of tax, or
yes, yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought since you're anyways crowdfunding it, I didn't think it was. So they actually see it as a form of income then. That's strange.
Yeah, even lottery, right? If you get
Right.
a
True.
lottery,
True. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like lottery only. But I was just putting this for my album.
But
Yeah,
you did that in India, right? Wishberry or back there?
yes. Which was in
Okay.
India. In,
Right. Okay. And
Indians
and
paid for it. That's what I'm trying to say. Indians paid
yeah,
for
I
it.
got it. Got
Yeah,
it. I thought Wishberry was a global thing that came to India later on, or was it always an Indian platform? Or
yeah, Indian startup. Yes, Indian.
okay, okay, right. Yeah, because I know of movies that were made using Wishberry uh,
Ah,
crowdfunding,
later,
like some
later, later.
yeah, yeah, later, off late. I think
2000.
about maybe as far as 10 years ago, maybe uh, about
Yes, it started in 2012, I
hmm.
suppose, and my album was released in 2013. So
Okay,
my campaign was in 2012.
okay.
Yeah.
And so, just calling out a few of the comments, there are people asking if you teach singing, they're struggling with their vocals. Uh, would like to know
I'm
more
learning
about
myself.
crowdfunding in 2022. Okay, Google it, man. You will find a lot of sites.
Now
Uh,
there are so many
yeah,
websites, local crowdfunding websites everywhere. Just check online. Google it. Yes.
yeah. And I think people you know have uh, said hi. There was, I think, someone called Sneha Naik
Sneha.
Satam.
Sneha
Uh,
Naik or Aisha Naik.
mm, Aisha, hey, Aisha, right, right.
Yeah.
Aisha,
Hi,
yeah.
Aisha.
She said
Yes.
hi. Someone named Saurabh said that he would like to perform live with you again. Looking forward to that. I
Oh,
think he may
I,
have.
oh, on Insta Live? Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
think I,
Maybe Insta Live, or I don't know if he meant a concert.
concerts shall happen soon. Yes, yes.
So, what are you up to now? I know about Sharma and the Besharams is that's happening. You have your solo thing also going. So tell us a little bit about those aspects also.
Well, the Besharams are currently chilling, but I have one more new song that I think we'll work on uh, sometime very soon. It's called Qatar Mein. The song is called Qatar Mein, and
Okay.
it's a very rock and roll, very, very groovy and very energetic song. And it just talks about how there is a line for everything in our country. Anything and everything. You have to wait your turn, and you have to, it's sort of a satire, but it's fun. It's very
Right.
lighthearted,
Okay.
and so that's the song that we hopefully work on very soon. Apart from that, for my solo stuff, I'm working on another album. I recently released an acoustic, a ukulele album in November, and it's called Acoustic Tales, and it's got all the songs, compilation of all the songs that I've composed till now, and just ukulele versions of that. But now I'm working on another album where I'll get into a proper pop production. That's something that is in the pipeline, and I'm doing a bit of production myself. And I think I'll also need to take some help from some music producers around for sure. But it's going to have 6 songs, and I haven't decided a date because, it's always work in progress when you start, because my throat is so bad right now that I'm not even able to take professional commitments for now, because I start coughing the minute I start, even
Oh.
hitting a high note. So I think it's going to take a while post COVID. Sorry about this. Post this COVID Omicron, I think is going to take a while. Um, but I think Feb onwards is something that I see myself, working on this album. Plus a few singles. I'm working on a collaboration with Arnav Magoo. He's a wonderful singer-songwriter from Delhi, and we already recorded the song. Just a little bit of production is left on it, and mixing and mastering, and the video is getting edited currently. So I think in Feb we should release that as well. It's a very sweet, chilled out song, very lovely acoustic vibe. And other than that, I think I'm just buying a lot of gear these days. I'm in that whole spree of, I don't know what's happening to me, because I haven't opened it still, but I just picked up the new loop station, and I'm RC600, and I have a wonderful microphone, condenser AKG microphone that I have. I've just, everything is packed, and I'm just waiting for my vocals to be better, and I'm just going to open all this, and I think I'll start going live with my live looping electronic setup from the studio. So I've got this really cute little space of mine. It's soundproofed and everything, and I have my basic setup here. So I think I'll start doing live performances from here, only to just get a hang of it. The new instruments that I have, plus two synthesizers are on their way. I'm just extremely excited about so many things. I think
Wow.
so I think that's going to change the direction of where my music is going to go, So a lot of times you get inspired with new things that you have around, and a lot of these music toys are some things that I'm waiting for.
So new
And
direction, you're saying, because of new possibilities and new layers that you can add, and so much you can
absolutely,
explore. Right, right, right.
absolutely.
What?
So yeah,
So two synthesizers, huh? Are you planning to set it up like a step thing? Or like a
I want to go. I want to go a bit analog.
ah,
I want to go a bit. So I don't really want the laptop to be there. So when I'm doing the looping bit, I don't really want the samples or the sounds from the laptop and through Ableton Push. Of course, I use Ableton Push in my music production, and I use it for the live performances right now. Any looping gig that I'm doing, I have the laptop, but I want to switch from that. I want to have like synths that I can create sound and have my vocals looped and do everything analog. That's what I feel like
but
doing, of
so are
course.
you saying that you've so these synthesizers that you've called for, or the ones that you've ordered, they are what are they? Moog synthesizers, or
No, the basic ones to start with. I have ordered one Korg and one
ah,
Korg processor, like a Chaos pad also for some sounds, and a Korg micro Korg uh, synth that I have, and I want
right.
to get like an Electribe 2 sampler to kind of get my the rhythm section sorted. So I
Oh,
actually want to
I
get
was
into this
okay.
space. So
I was
I'll
under
be
the
in a
impression
den.
that right. Sorry. You were saying
No, so I think I'll be actually in my den for the next, once these things arrive, I'll be in my
right,
den for the next 2 months, just trying to, just do things on my own and try and figure out something. I think,
right.
and it is the best feeling ever. Like it's so satisfactory. I can't
Yeah, I can
explain that
imagine.
feeling.
I can imagine. The reason why I asked, are they Moog synthesizers, is when you said analog, I thought you're throwing it back all the way, like, going completely.
Ah,
Uh,
that's a long way. That's a slowly. I'm still learning digital production. still slowly doing things, and I think this is just the beginning because I want to incorporate these sounds in my live looping. So the
Right.
whole idea is to get my vocals together with these sounds, the synth sounds.
I
So
was,
I'll
hmm,
a lot of possibilities. I'm very excited
yeah,
about that.
yeah. I was thinking like Square Pusher, maybe, like it takes it to another level. Do
In
you?
time, you never know. You never. I think you need a lot of money also for these things. So
True,
slowly,
true, true.
slowly, when you save up and you feel like buying all these toys, but पैसा पैसा बोलता है.
Right. But when you so you've take up assignments in terms of say ad jingles, corporate films,
Oh
all of
yes,
that as well, right?
yes, yes, yes. Ad jingles, they keep happening. I mean, a lot of digital content is coming right now. But lately, I think I want to concentrate from Feb. I want to concentrate on my album. So I don't think I could do maybe just singing jobs because they are really quick. But taking up production and it's too much back and forth with the guys,
Mm, mm.
the agencies and stuff. So I might not get into that because I want to give all that time and concentrate on my own music. So I would just take up jobs where I just have to sing and get out, you know.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because then the whole rigmarole of the changes that keep coming
Yeah.
in now.
Yeah, I mean, a minute long, even a 30 second would actually with the back and forth. Sometimes it takes almost 2 weeks. Yeah, so I feel like you end up spending so much time because and they want it yesterday, like it's like that.
Yeah,
So you have to keep
true.
working. So I feel like because I'm sort of very laid back and I love being laid back. So I would take up things at my own pace. So I would actually take up some sort of music work where I know that there is enough time for me to nicely do it and be happy with the product that I give out. Even the small things that I do for myself, maybe for my Instagram or whatsoever, I take my good enough time, so I'm not thinking factory, every day a video. I just feel I want to be inspired. I want to be inspired with the sounds or a song I need to like. And that's when I put things together. So I think in that way, being cutthroat professional, I doubt if I'm going to get there anytime soon because I enjoy my own pace of working
Pace.
on music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're speaking of inspirations. What do you listen to? Who do you turn to when you turn into a listener and you want to enjoy music? Is it
It's it's all pop, yeah. So to be very honest, right now the zone, what I do is I get on Spotify and the latest trending playlist of pop music. The international music is something that I'm listening to, and I'm actually not listening to the songwriting. I'm listening to the production because that's where
production?
I'm
Yeah.
concentrating right now. So I'm listening to the sounds that they're using, the kind of synths, the kind of the kick and the kind of bass lines that are being
Mm,
used because I know that composition is a very strong aspect of mine. I feel like composition wise, I'm right there. So nothing can move that. And I don't have any doubts about it. When it comes to lyrics also, I think I can write decent lyrics, but I have like a few folks of mine who help me out with good lyrics. And it's only production. So when I listen to all the trending songs, it's the sounds that I look for and the sort of arrangement, the rhythm structure that they have, so it's very interesting because sometimes I don't even remember the words or the melody. But I know that this kind of bass line was so good, so I enjoy all of that and I try and uh, replicate that. So what I do, I'll take up a song and I'll put it in my DAW in Logic, and I'll take out all the sounds. Like I'll listen to them, try and listen to them individually, and take out all those sounds from my own system, even if I don't have the same sounding sample. But I would try and get to it as much as possible.
oh, okay.
So I
Okay.
think that's a great learning because you kind of understand how they produce these tracks and I mean over a period of time it's all practice also at the end of the day. So I think I have a long way to go when it comes to doing production to that level, but at least I've started and I'm on my way. And it's going to be mine. So I'll have help from really good producers, but I know that I'll be working on it also with the vision that I have.
Yeah, yeah. And you were talking about okay, so someone agrees with you and said what you just described is the best exercise for sure. I mean, hearing something and trying to recreate it on your own.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has really helped. Because, most of the times we listen to either the lyrics or the melody, or maybe
Mm.
one hook or one motive that stays with you in the music. But other than that, why is it that song is so popular is also a bunch of things put together. So it's just the
Mm.
whole bouquet of things. So you have to kind of try and listen to each things individually and see what is it that has made this song, what all things have made this song there. So
True,
I
true.
think that's definitely a very good exercise.
Yeah, and speaking of composition, I mean, even the Indian music scene, specifically, I would say, I mean, out of personal experience, the hip hop scene is exploding like crazy. As in, you have these amazing producers coming up
Yeah,
with sounds and compositions and textured stuff, layered stuff that I've never heard coming out of an
brilliant.
Indian
Yeah.
album.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
and
The production has gone to the next level, even in India. It's crazy. It's amazing.
yeah, and it's almost as if someone would snip something out, and before I hear the song, and they play it back, and I would instantly assume this is from some American or European artist.
Yeah,
and
and then you
and
have some rap going on in Hindi suddenly. It's
uh,
just, oh, ye to
not just
apna
Hindi.
hai.
No,
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that it's Hindi to hai hi, theek hai. Aside Hindi aside, it's even more so the case in regional rap and
Oh,
hip hop.
yes. Yes, yes, yes,
Punjabi,
yes.
Bangla. I mean, amazing stuff coming out.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Even regional, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
and even down south. Uh,
Oh, yeah,
so yeah, no dearth of producers and compositions. I think right now,
absolutely.
and it's really beautiful the way they're starting to use dissonance also. Like
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, before they
in,
would actually play safe and make it
yeah,
all, but
yeah.
now it's used so tastefully that it still gets you, like you're right.
it,
I like
it
that.
gets you, and then it's like it's that intentional off note, and it suddenly the tempo goes for a toss and and it goes somewhere and comes back. Very well done, like all those kind
Yeah,
of things. And
it's very well thought also. Yeah.
but I always keep wondering how palatable would it be if that kind of approach was adapted for mainstream content as well. I don't know. But are people that attached to the 4/4 routine and predictability?
I think popular music remains popular for a reason. You
True.
know,
But what
like
is
if
it
you
that
see the
makes it
world
popular?
is,
Because it's that simple. Is that the reason?
it's 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 hummable. Like you
Okay.
could actually tap your feet, tap your just move along with it. I think that and some chord structures always work. Like,
Hmm.
if you see the chord progressions, certain chord progressions, they always work. So you put any sort of, I was doing some sort of medley the other day and I was playing four chords and I could actually sing 6 or 7 songs on that same chord progression and they just
Yeah.
sound refreshing because these are all
Yeah.
happy chords. So I think
Yeah.
that's why the popular music is popular for a reason, and I think it gets to the masses get it, like at least they can, like everyone likes to move and groove and get into the whole they want to involve themselves with music.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think the
Yeah.
involvement happens when it's simplistic and it's like in your face, "Okay, this is what it is." So as simple as it can get, I think that's why it's popular. But mainstream, having said that, mainstream, um if it's done tastefully, I think it can definitely work. It's just we need people to be very open to those
Mm-hmm.
approaches to music. So I think if you give the audience very interesting intelligent music, you're actually increasing their music IQ when you come to think of it. So
True, true.
if we keep giving people the same thing over and over again, their level of mental music IQ will be the same. But if you
Mm.
actually kind of make it grow and give them more stuff, I think they will get used to, their palate will change, so it's very important to do this consistently. We have done popular music consistently for years. So now it's, even in the old times, there were people like Salil Chaudhary, even R.D. Burman, with
Oh
his
yeah, yeah, yeah.
instrumentation, was very extremely evolved when it comes to the kind of music that they were using, the instruments that they were using. They were way ahead of their times. Even Salil
Absolutely.
Chaudhary, the compositions that he would compose would be class apart. Any composition you take of his, you will see so much of so many of his compositions have this chromatic stuff going on through the melody and coming back to it. So it's like you you know you feel like it's going to get resolved, but it
Mm.
doesn't, and it moves
True.
somewhere else, and then it gives you that final satisfaction. But it gives you, but
Yeah.
he moves here and there with his melodies. So I think it's very important to change the palette of people. And
True, true.
if we can introduce these things, I think the decision makers need to make that decision.
Yeah, and I think that change for sure is happening in the way people are consuming content, specifically OTT. They're
Yeah.
they're starting to experiment a little more. It'll be great to see that happening on the music front as well. Which I think it is, but
It is already
it's
happening, even with
yeah.
the OTT platforms. I think I don't remember the artist, but I know it's an indie artist, and he has done the whole score of a uh, new series on Amazon Prime, I think. But the music, when you listen to the background score, or the title track, is just very different from what we've heard before. So I definitely feel people are experimenting with new sounds, and artists who can actually give out a little different flavor from the regular stuff that's already been happening for a while now. And I think change is happening. It's just that it's rather slow, and we don't see it because it's
Yeah.
happening every single day. And maybe
True.
in the next 5 years, when we might just see the whole scene completely changed over, and we have all these indie musicians who are, creating music for Bollywood films. It's happening already, but it's just very limited and very slow. So it's
Yeah,
happening.
and because we are in the change, many a times we don't see the change until we look back and compare and all of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what's next? As in any like a lot of people are asking, any new albums coming out? You spoke of a couple of singles coming out, but there
Yes.
were a few questions about album.
So two singles that I mentioned, one is a collaboration, and the other one is my band's single that I have to work on in the new year. In the coming months, I think next 2 months I should be done with it. But other than that, as I said, I'm working on a pop album, a proper pop album of mine, and it's going to be in Hindi. But the production is what I am working on right now, and I want it to be extremely pop, electro pop, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
vibe that I want to go for. And that's something that I've already started working on the compositions. They're almost done, 6 songs, but I'm just figuring out the production for it right now. So I think the next 2 months, it's a process. I think
True.
it's going to take some time, but I'm working on it. And yeah, live looping is something that once I have my throat sorted, is happening from Feb onwards for sure. Like regular live jams will happen.
The album that you spoke of is you're talking about the solo album or the band? Uh,
It's a solo album.
Solo album.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Superb.
Yes.
And so I hope that answers everyone's questions. Anything? No, I think we've covered all the questions. So is there anything that you would like to share with people who are interested to get into the field of music, or are toying with the idea of getting into it full time?
Getting into it full time. Mm. Um, it's interesting. It's good to get into it full time. But if you're already doing something else full time, right now, keep doing that. I think I think just nudge music a bit here and there, but
Mm,
when the scene is the so-called music scene kind of opens up when we have this, I think it's already the situation is pretty is a little better in
yeah.
at least the metropolitans in Mumbai and Delhi. So
Mm,
because there were a whole lot of cancellations for live gigs, and
yeah.
all the artists currently are suffering. And I think even virtual gigs would happen on and off. But as a musician, as a live performer, as a singer, you want that stage. You want to see audience in front of you, and even for musicians to perform live. So someone wants to get into this field right now. I think nicely before things, and they will happen. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all for the scene opening up and live gigs happening the way they used to happen, and things, just taking up the pace. But right now, I think it would be nice to just keep creating as and when you get time, but have your backup, like the other job that you're doing. But
Right.
for folks, for youngsters who want to get into music, th- I mean, you don't really need you don't need someone to give you a platform, right? There
Mm,
is a platform. There is social media for you. There is, there are so many influencers or artists
mm,
on social media who've actually started off singing, amateur singing. Maybe they have
mm,
beautiful tone, not trained. Some are training themselves in the whole process while singing. They're training as well. So, and they have great fan following. Some just have a knack of writing beautiful
right.
lyrics, and they just sing it out. So I think there's talent all around us, and there's enough platform, at least through social media right now. We don't need a label to sign you right now anymore,
Mm,
unless, I mean, you're aspiring to get into have T series, make your music videos, and if that's the kind of music also that you want to do, I mean, that's your choice. It's different, but I just feel that um, you don't really need someone to give you a platform, or
true.
you to tell you that. I mean, if you want to get into music, work really hard, study well, just be sincere to what you're doing, and be honest with yourself, because uh, we uh, we should be consistent every single day. If you're practicing something, maybe if you're a musician, you want to practice your instrument, or you're a singer and you want to practice your vocals. I think it's very important to be sincere and to be consistent and honest, of course. Since Be sincere and honest, and
Mm,
just keep doing. I would say that don't wait for that. That maybe 2 years from now, when I've done enough, when I've learned enough, then I will come out with something. If you feel strongly about something and you're passionate, keep doing and keep learning. I'm learning every single day. So if someone
mm,
asks me today, do you teach music? Of course, I'll be more than happy to help you with all I know. But when it comes to me being a teacher and taking up something regularly, I think I'm not the right person. I would always want to be a student, and I can help with all the music theory, all the things that I know, and I can help you out as a fellow musician. If someone
right.
is an aspiring
Yeah.
musician, but I don't want to be a teacher. I don't think I have that. I don't think I deserve to be. I deserve to be a student all my life. So I think just be at it, stay at it, and keep doing if music is what you feel is your calling.
Superb. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Vasuda, for taking time out and joining us. Thanks to
Thank you.
everyone who's our pleasure always. Thanks everyone for joining us. Until next month, stay safe. Thanks, Vasuda. Take care
Thank you.
and get well soon.
Thank you. I will.
All
Definitely, I
right.
have to. See you.
Take care.
Bye,
See you. Bye
everyone.
bye.
Thank you.